Hey guys, how's it going? TheHaggardNerd here, and oh my gosh, I'm super excited. Astroneer is officially launching its alpha release. As of the 18th, which is today as of the time of recording this, the Research Update 2.0, or Research 2.0, I guess, has been released and is now available on all the platforms. And yeah, I'm super excited. A year ago, as of the 16th of December, Astroneer officially turns 1 year old. So happy birthday, Astroneer. Happy birthday, SES. Well, I guess for Astroneer at least. So we got the patch notes here. I did a nice little live stream yesterday, and I really like this new research update. It adds a new layer of complexity, but like good complexity. And yeah, take a look at my videos if you're curious as to what that whole update's like. So let's go ahead and get through some of the patch notes here. I just want to do a quick review. Let's see here. Research update is now an entirely new way to play Astroneer. As a part of alpha launch, we wanted to lay a solid foundation by updating our core game loop, which this update really does. So now you have the catalog, which was that little console that we found a while back, and it has this new research chamber, which is this thing right here, and it uses basically as you research things, it collects points, which they're calling bytes, and use those bytes to unlock different blueprints, which is really cool, and I'm sure we'll go into it more further down. Includes our first module that uses streaming power. So yeah, the research module here requires a constant source of power in order to constantly run. So it really changes the way you deal with power and all that generation and everything like that. So it's kind of cool. They also changed the resource colors, and apparently under the hood performance changes. I thought it ran pretty smoothly. I mean, after a while it did kind of start dropping a little bit like you normally would see after you work on a map for a while, but it did seem like it ran pretty smooth. There were a few points where it did seem to run smoother than normal, so that's good. And of course they're mentioning here that they're moving into the alpha phase of development, which is awesome, absolutely wonderful. So yeah, so they're saying going forward we'll be adding content and changes to the game with every update until we reach beta. For a list of upcoming features and expected launch windows, check the roadmap below. We will go through that in just a moment. So with the updates, now this is instead of being like patch 223 or 225 or whatever, it is now patch 0.5.0.0. so this is the new numbering convention they're going to start using, which is the current build of the game apparently. So here we got a complete overhaul of the research system. The research system has been completely changed from the ground up. This will allow us to add new items to the game on a consistent basis while giving players direct ways to unlock the items they want. So the concept called bytes has been released. Bytes are the way the Astroneers will unlock items in the new research system. Here you can see down as your research thing, it tells you how many bytes are available in a certain specific type of research, and it seems like different types of research have different amounts of bytes. Some I've seen with just a few hundred. This one seems to have been it's either, I think that's a 3,813. It might be 8,813, but so yeah, there's a lot, and yeah, there's like a timer depending on how much power is coming into the system will actually drop this. So if this is only about halfway, so if there were more powered running to this module, then this power graph would go higher and this time remaining would be a lot lower. So getting bytes requires researching items at the new research chamber. Items that are researchable include research chests found in the world and resources like compound, resin, etc. We will be expanding the list of researchable items in the future. So I didn't know you could actually put other types of things in there to research, because I was just popping the chests in there like we're used to. So I'm gonna have to check that out in future videos. That's really cool. That's really cool. Okay, so use the backpack to catalog. Use the backpack catalog to unlock blueprints. So basically, you save up these bytes, and over time, there are different things to unlock, such as like the large rover or the shuttle or the generators or anything like that. They all have different byte costs. So the more bytes you save up, the more expensive things you can unlock, which is kind of cool. After you've accumulated enough bytes to unlock the items you want, open up your catalog in your backpack to send the data to Exodynamics in exchange for the blueprint to create them. So that is a cool kind of call back to this whole EXO thing, which I think is going to play more of a role in future updates, which is kind of interesting. So here we have the research platform and the little HUD that comes with it. When you click the front of this little thing pops off, and then when you are ready, you to research something, you open this thing, you click it, it'll open, you click it again, and it'll start. But if you click it again, it'll actually just delete this. So if it says cancel research, sample will be destroyed. You got to watch for that. So that's a thing that I learned the hard way. Okay, let's see what else we have. There are a few general tips in this new system. Research chambers require a constant flow of power to continue gathering bytes. That means power infrastructures like batteries, generators, solar panels, and wind generators will become extremely important. You can overclock your platforms to produce more bytes by increasing the amount of power the platforms receive. So yeah, if you have like a couple little generators on here and you got some solar going on and maybe some wind or something, like the more you push this graph up, the faster this will go, and it's great. And you have multiple platforms going all at once if you have a lot of power going to your base, and you can get a lot of research real fast if you do it that way. Okay, so what else do we have? Added the new and improved research chamber. The new research chamber is our first platform using quote-unquote streaming power, a system we are going to move to completely in the future. Now, rather than placing a research test on the platform and getting a random item, you research objects to accumulate data, which you can then use to unlock whatever items you would like from your backpack. These platforms all stack, so the more powered platforms with research you have going, the more bytes you will accumulate. Wow, that was rough. Sorry. So basically, it's just recapping what I was saying. If you have a lot of power going to a lot of pads, you can get a lot of research going all at the same time. So here's a nice little GIF of how that works. So he puts it in, he clicks the thing, clicks it, and now it's doing its thing, and it's properly powered. We don't see any power going to this right now, but it wouldn't be working if there wasn't power going to it. So this is how it looks, which is kind of cool. Okay, you can overclock your research chamber to accumulate bytes faster. Examine the module connected to the platform to see the rate of bytes, and also check to see if you're operating at maximum efficiency. That's what this that little bar is. So the higher this is, the more you're doing it, the more research you're doing, or more bytes you're receiving. So definitely crank that up as high as you can with as much power going to that platform as possible if you want to research things quickly. Players should also be aware that after you add a researchable item to the chamber, you cannot stop the process without destroying the contents. Canceling for any reason means you lose the bytes left in that subject. So yeah, if you for some reason need the power and you have to cancel the thing, well, the only way to do it is to get rid of it. So if you have 1,000 bytes left in that sample, it's just done, it's gone. So you got to be mindful of that. It's an interesting thing to be mindful of now in the game. All right, so now we have the backpack catalog module, which is really awesome. That's the console we found back on Baron, if you're familiar with the videos and everything that we've done. The catalog is your central hub for unlocking printable blueprints for items. Once you have enough bytes, open the catalog using the backpack key while the backpack is open, or just click on it with your backpack when your backpack is stowed. Oh, I didn't know you could do that. Okay, so basically when your backpack is open or closed, as long as you click that little side tab, it'll pop out. That's kind of cool. On the top, if its screen, I think that's a typo, of its screen, you will see the rate of bytes per minute, as well as your total accumulated bytes. And on the bottom, you can scroll through the researchable items and unlock them by clicking on the green button. To cycle through categories of research, press the buttons with the icons above the main window. So here you see the icons above the main window. This is kind of groups of categories. And then you see the little hologram in the middle of the thing you're trying to do. And you have the different items within that category, and you can cycle through with the up, down, left, right buttons, or WSAD. And then if you have enough bytes to research, you can pop up in the little cover here and click the green button, and it'll unlock the thing that you can now print on either your backpack or the printer, as you would normally expect. Okay, so what else do we have? First impressions of the new quote-unquote streaming power system. As the first step in getting base building online, the research chamber uses the new streaming power system to operate. That means that rather than having base modules use a power bar that has to continue refilling, modules using the new mechanic search the network for sources of power and then stay connected to them as long as the power keeps coming in. So yeah, it really does change how you deal with power. So you can't just have like one solar panel at the end of your base and wait for things to fill up and then click a button and let that power bar drop down like you're used to. This thing needs a constant source of power in order to go, and that means batteries, that means solar panels, that means anything that produces power in the game will run these things. So it's just something you have to keep be mindful of. So when you're first starting the game, you unlock that generator. The generator is the only thing you have, so you got to pop a lot of organic in there if you want to get some research started, which changes the way the early game really plays. But it's an interesting change. It's a good change, I think. Okay, so what else do we have? Implemented new resource colors. Oh yeah, this was really cool. This was super cool. Keeping with our ideal to try and base items in our game on actual science, we worked on updating resource colors. Items like malachite should now better reflect their real-world counterparts. These are still a work in progress. So yeah, definitely some cool stuff there. I really do like the new colors. Definitely check those out if you're in game. So there's UI updates. The game now has a few usability and informational tweaks. The first is the prompt to let players know that old save is most likely unsupported and buggy. Upon loading the older save, the game will warn you about potential bugs and a less than ideal performance. We also added new messages of the day area on the home screen with a link to patch notes so you can check them out anytime. So yeah, there's also the new in-game tutorial. So when you open things up, there's the F1 option, and then there are some screens that pop up, which are really, really cool. That kind of walk you through the very basics of the starting of the game. Tells you about the console and the research chamber and all that stuff, which is very, very handy, especially for new players, I'm sure. So they also added automatic crash reporting, which is kind of cool. They have new soundtrack music added to the existing soundtrack songs, which is awesome. I'm gonna have to check out this physical copy thing. I'm gonna check that out. That's really cool. And then they have the most recent vlog posted here, episode 25, which goes into the guys working on these little aggressive plants that kind of hop towards you and kick you around, and other little bomber things. This is a really cool vlog. Make sure you check that out if you've not done so already. Quick rundown of the bug fixes. The game now auto-saves appropriately when force quitting. That's kind of cool. Fixed a visual issue where client players' dropships had no thrusters in multiplayer games. Cool stuff. Players can no longer hold objects after death or during the relaunch animation for more. That's actually a really good fix, because there's been a couple times where that's accidentally happened to me, and it's kind of jarring. So that's a good fix right there. Fixed a few issues with quick stowing of items not interacting well with the backpack printer. Fixed the terrain brush color ring to reflect the player color in the tool disabled state. It's no longer fuchsia. Fixed a few other instances of the client players getting stuck in a wheelie while driving a rover in multiplayer games. Well, I don't know if getting stuck really, but I've had that happen a couple times to me just in a single player. Fixed an issue in multiplayer games where the soil burn-off effect in the drill would not display for client players, regardless of multiplayer. That I actually noticed that I was not getting that burn-off effect in my single players, so hopefully that was fixed as well. And then, of course, there's fixed a bug in multiplayer games on Xbox One where the no power text and symbol were not visible on modules to client players. Interesting. So that's all good and well, but what is coming in the future? Well, we have this wonderful, handy-dandy roadmap highlight. The following major features are continuing during development. Yes, but are not included in this release. Okay, so just a heads up, this is not available now. This is the future. The future. Now that we are in alpha, you can expect to see all of these items implemented during the first half of 2018. And they even tell you like the idea of when you can expect these things to roll out, which is super cool. Super cool. Thank you, SES, for that. So dedicated servers. Oh yeah, you guys know I've been looking forward to that. So we are currently working on diligently with a third party to start standing up the dedicated server experience. There are unanswered questions regarding ownership and persistence, but we expect to be shipping our first dedicated server experience during Q2 of 2018. So guys, the TheHaggardNerd community Astroneer server is going to be go in Q2 of 2018, and it's going to be awesome. So make sure you guys look for that. I'm super excited for that. Base building, Q1 of 20. Base building is going to be super soon. Within the next few months, we're looking at base building, which is super exciting. Right now, the team is working on some elements that will completely change how you build your bases and creating tiers of base modules that will scale up as your Astroneer starts to master the solar system. We want there to be a sense of progression when creating bases so that your initial base looks way different than your base belonging to a seasoned Astro. That doesn't mean just bigger. That means more complex, also more rewarding. That's really cool. That sounds really cool. Right now, you could technically burn organic on all 30 small generators to power a big base. But what if you could just upgrade your base with more powerful and automated power sources to replace them all? The initial version of base building will be shipped sometime in Q1 2018. Oh, this is going to be awesome. This is kind of the thing I've been wondering about, like game extension and making like mid and late game more interesting. So this will definitely help with that, I think. that's cool to look forward to. Research 2.1, they just ruled out Research 2.0, but they are still working on it, which is kind of cool. Our first version of this is out, but that doesn't mean we are done. As with all of the new systems we're shipping, these are just base implementations of what we are now working on expanding. The next steps include working on items that instantly grant you research points, that's interesting, and unlockable blueprints that can only be found out in the world and never be unlocked via the catalog. That's cool. That will help with exploration and going out and finding things instead of just sitting at your base and grinding out soil and stuff. Expect this to keep getting more content over our next few updates. So cool. So the Research 2.0 is released. So 2.1 and on, I'm sure, is going to be the next few updates we're going to be seeing, which is going to be cool because the 2.0 system is already interesting. So anything past that is going to be really, really cool. So Q1 2018, weather and hazards. As a part of Terrain 2.0, we will also be introducing an entirely new weather and hazard system to challenge players. You should have gotten a taste for this in the last week's vlog. Rather than just being challenging by gas bags and dust storms, we're going to implement different kinds of weather effects and aggressive flora that will challenge your exploration of the solar system. So yeah, this is really cool. You guys already know the storms and everything, but they're working on new stuff. And if you haven't watched this vlog, definitely do that because they kind of go into this a little bit, which is really, really cool. And then what else is there? There are Terrain 2.0. We've talked about this a little bit. Q2 of 2018, which is awesome. I'll save you the technical talk and just say creating new planets, biomes, and caves has begun. So yes, new planets, new biomes, new caves, new awesome planets. They're working on that currently. This is still a long process to tweak the procedural system, but Terrain 2.0 is slowly being turned over from engineering to the art team so they can begin making much more complex planets with unique challenges to face. Okay, so basically they've talked about like volcanoes and potentially adding water. I'm not saying any of this is confirmed, but this is the kind of the things they've been talking about. So definitely Terrain 2.0 is going to be exciting, and I do remember them talking about when they rolled Terrain 2.0 out, it should actually help optimize the system because the current planet building and rendering system is kind of slow or not necessarily optimized. So we probably will be seeing some performance improvements in Terrain 2.0 unless that has changed from the SES's side. So definitely a lot of cool stuff in this update, a lot of stuff to go over. So I know this is a long video, but hopefully this walkthrough has got you up to speed on what you can expect now with Astroneer and all the awesomeness that Astroneer is SES is rolling out into Astroneer. And I'm really super excited about this update, and I'm really excited about the near future. And you know, the first half of 2018 is going to be phenomenal for this game. So definitely good job SES, good job all the people working there, and the community, the feedback and support and all that good stuff, because your guys feedback I'm sure helps drive them and give them ideas and let them know what they're doing right, what they're not. And together everybody's making a really super awesome game. So yeah, okay, so hopefully you enjoyed this run through of the research update, the official alpha release of Astroneer. So yeah, definitely go check it out, guys. I know that SES is going to be doing a sale, I think, on Astroneer sometime soon if it's not already currently occurring. So make sure you check that out and pick that game up if you've not done so already, because this game is really wonderful and it's only going to get more awesome from here. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Take care.